5-0. Despite all of the damage she's caused, Kamala has spent the final week of her failing campaign comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. That's what she's doing to me. 2 days ago, Joe Biden called our supporters garbage. You're garbage. He said they're garbage. He called you garbage. He called all of us garbage. We're garbage. I remember the word deplorable. Do you remember the word deplorable? How did that work out, Hillary? Not too good. But they mean it, even though without question my supporters are of far higher quality and I think much smarter than Crooked Joe or Lion Kamala. My response to Joe and Kamala is simple. You can't lead America if you don't love America. You can't do it. You can't be president if you hate the American people, and I think they hate the American people. I'll bet you we're 250 million people we're talking about. I'll bet we're 250 million people. Remember, it's called Make America Great Again. Who's against that? Remember Joe? Remember Joe before he gave up and quit? He quit like a little loser. He quit. I will hand over my presidency. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will hand over my presidency. No, he quit. He won, and then he walked into his office. You can't win. So she's not going to win either, by the way. That's the beauty. This can only happen to me. I'm the one. I have to fight two people, not one. I have to go. Everyone else they can beat once. So we spent $150 million beating this guy. I never even mentioned her name. Nobody even knew who the hell she was, except she was incompetent. So we fight. And we're beating him. We have the debate. We did well. He didn't do too good. And then his numbers are down. They go in. They take away his presidency. They literally took away his presidency. And now they say they put – it's like going to Dana White. You know Dana White, UFC. And he sees the fight going on, and the one guy's getting beaten badly. They say, let's take him out and put somebody else in. You don't do that stuff. But they did it. Not a democracy. You don't do that. And, she was last out of the 13 people. She was last. They started off with 22, actually. She was last. She was the first one to be defeated. She got wrecked. She got killed. She was the first one. She never made it to the great state of Iowa. We love Iowa, too. Never made it to Iowa. She never made it. She was defeated before she was the first one out of 22 people to quit. And she becomes the person I have to run against, right? Just not, I don't care. I think I'm probably happier. They have much more capable people than her. But you know what? What they did was wrong. They went in and they told somebody, you're getting out. We're taking over. And they actually took over the presidency of the United States. Think about it. Kamala Harris is not fit to be president of the United States. She doesn't have the intellect, the stamina, or that special quality that real leaders must have to lead. Brett Favre yesterday in Wisconsin, he's great. He endorsed me. Never did that before. He endorsed me, gave me a strong endorsement. And I was thinking about her. I'm talking about her, and there's Brett Favre sitting there with her hands. He has got hands. I never saw it. He's got fingers like sausages. That's why he could fling that ball 80 yards down the field. And I'm saying, how do you even compare? You're talking about him. He was a leader, the won Super Bowl, and had some of the best quarterback stats ever. But great. It was such an honor. And I'm thinking about here's a guy who was a leader. He was a leader on the field. He'd be screaming at his guys. They weigh 100 pounds more than him. Although I tell you, he's a big guy. I was surprised. He's tall, but he is a strong sucker. And he comes out. And I'm looking at him, and I'm talking about her in terms of leadership. And I say, can you imagine we're even having them in the same room? It's so ridiculous. Joe Biden's comments were the direct result of Kamala's decision to portray everyone who isn't voting for her, which is a hell of a lot of people, as evil and subhuman. Can you believe that? Evil. And we're evil and subhuman. And we know it's what they believe because look at how they've treated you. They've treated you like garbage. Look on the border. Look at New Mexico. You have the worst problem probably in the whole country. They're flowing in like you're a federal highway. They're flowing into your state at levels that nobody else has to see. For the past 9 years, Kamala and her party have called us racist, bigots, fascists, deplorables, irredeemables, Nazis, and they called me Hitler. I'm Hitler, that's what they say. They've bullied you, they've demeaned you, they've demonized us, they've censored us, deplatformed us, and weaponized the power of our government against their political opponent, me. I've had more investigations than Alphonse Capone. Alphonse Capone would kill a person just by looking. If he didn't like the person, even tough guys like these guys over here, if Alphonse didn't like you, you were gone. And I've had more investigations than Scarface. That's Alphonse Capone. My father would be looking down. He said, how the hell did that happen to my son, my boy, my beautiful boy? How did that happen? How did that happen? I'm pretty sure he'd be looking down. I know my mother would be looking down. My father. He'd be looking down. He was a tough guy, but he was a good guy. He had a big, beautiful heart. They've taken away your money, thrown open your borders to criminals and terrorists, flooded your towns with deadly drugs and death, given your jobs to illegal migrants, and sent our blood and treasure to fight stupid foreign wars in countries that you've never heard of. This Tuesday is your chance to stand up and declare that you're not going to take it anymore. What we've built is the biggest, broadest, most incredible coalition and the greatest political movement in American history. There's never been a movement like this, not even close. We've brought together veterans and union members, soldiers and steelworkers, farmers and auto workers, and patriotic moms and dads of every race, religion, color, and creed. We're welcoming historic numbers of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and Arab Americans. Let me tell you, when the numbers come out, you're going to see the worst African American numbers that we've ever seen, because these people that are pouring into our country are taking African American jobs at levels that nobody's ever seen. And they're trying to keep, I know the numbers, they're trying to keep the numbers quiet until after the election. They have 5 more days, but they want to keep them quiet. They should release them right now. African Americans, and to a lesser extent, but a lot, Hispanic Americans are losing their jobs to people that are illegally coming into our country. And we ought to demand it. I demand it of the fake news, but they're useless. These guys are useless. They don't even talk about it. And they know it. And they know it. They know what the numbers are, too. They're taking African-American jobs at a level that nobody can even comprehend. And it's damn unfair. These are American citizens. It's damn unfair. We're uniting Christians and Jews, Catholics and evangelicals, Muslims and Mormons, and everyone who simply wants to do one thing. What do they want to do? Make America great again. That's all they want to do. Our campaign has been endorsed by 400,000 members. Think of this, 400,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police, by the Border Patrol agents, unanimously, think of it, unanimously, and the strongest endorsement you've ever heard, by the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. That's something no Republican ever had, 62%. They have a great head of the Teamsters, so I will say, Sean O'Brien, he's a great leader of the Teamsters, I will say that. By Elon Musk, a great one. When I watched that rocket come in last week, I said, any guy can do that. I want that endorsement, right? He gave me the... You know where he is right now? He's in Pennsylvania, and what he's doing is campaigning for me because he said it's the most important single decision in American history because we're going to lose our country. We have the endorsement of somebody who's terrific, not easy. He's been, the family's been slightly Democrat for a long time, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. RFK Jr. He's going to help us on health and the health of women, and men, and children, and he is so good and so into it, and you'll see he's going to do a great job. I may keep him away from the liquid gold. I told him, listen, I love you. I think you're great. But stay away from my liquid gold. We're going to make a lot of money with that. We're going to pay off debt. We're going to lower taxes. We have Tulsi Gabbard, a highly respected person who just turned Republican. And the great astronaut Buzz Aldrin, who never endorsed, this yesterday, he never endorsed anybody in his life, and he endorsed a guy named Donald Trump. Kamala and Joe, call them. All of them also, they're in your group now. She calls them garbage, and he calls them garbage. Oh, you can imagine their conversations. But I call you the heart and soul of America. I call you the people that built our country. You're the people that built our country. We're especially excited to have the support of record numbers of Hispanic Americans and Latinos. And right here in New Mexico, we're going to win a record share of the Hispanic American vote. We're going to get tremendous. So if I did nothing else, at least the Hispanics are going to say we love this guy, because I've set so many records. You know, we won Miami. We did things like win Miami. We won the entire border along Texas, which is mostly Hispanic. It's 80%, 85%. The governor of Texas, a good guy, Governor Abbott, called. He said, sir, you won the entire border running along Texas, between Texas and Mexico. I said, so why are you surprised? He said, it never happened before. Hispanics want great jobs, rising wages, and safe communities. You don't want vicious gang members getting dumped into your state. And you don't want Kamala teaching your children that they can change their gender anytime they want. And many Hispanics are also Catholics, and Kamala is persecuting Catholics. What's with Catholics? Any Catholic that votes for her should immediately have your head examined. They are persecuting Catholics. And remember this, evangelicals are next, okay? It's very simple. We're with you. What they're doing is unbelievable. They're persecuting Catholics. So, we have a lot of Who's Catholic here? Who's Catholic? A lot. That's a lot. We're trying to turn that movement that the government has. We're going to turn it down. We're going to turn that thing down and off. And my first day in office, there'll be no more persecutions of Catholics or anybody else. Kamala even suggested that being Catholic disqualifies you from running for office. She's about 75 years out of date. Didn't they have that with Kennedy? They had that with a lot of people. A lot of Catholics were persecuted they couldn't run for office. And now she's going to start that whole thing up again. The woman is a disaster. And ready? I shouldn't say this about an opponent, but I have to. Because you know what? We can't take a chance on her. She's dumb as a rock. She's dumb as a rock. Did you see where her teleprompter went off last week? Two weeks ago, she's like, 32. And now the teleprompter freezes. Happens all the time. I have my good teleprompter guy back there. He's excellent, but every once in a while, no matter how good they are, this sucker breaks down. But I haven't been using it too much today, to be honest. Hey, isn't it nice? I always say, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a teleprompter? Right? But her teleprompter broke down 3 weeks ago. And 32 days, she meant 32 days are left in the campaign. 32. Oh, 32. Did you see this? 32. 32. Oh, and I'm saying, oh, man, I was watching. I said, she's lost it. 32. And then, boom, it kicked back. You know, sometimes it doesn't. If you're going to be a politician, you have to know they have backup. See this? This is a backup. But, you know, if you have to use that backup, you're in big trouble because, it broke. Now you got to find the page. It's not good. You're just better off just wing it, do whatever the hell you have to do. This is backup. All I have to do is figure out what the hell page it's on, you know, little things like that. No, if you're a politician, if you want to run for office, I have a friend, he wanted to, a very smart guy, very successful guy, made a lot of money and all. He saw what I'd done. He wants to run for the Senate. And I say, well, do you have any problems, anything back? No, I have one problem, though. I have like this terrible phobia. I'm afraid to speak in front of people. I said, let me give you a little suggestion. Don't waste your time. You got it. Can you imagine that? He had a problem, little phobia about speaking in front of people. That would not be good. So he was actually hoping for small groups instead of large groups. Hey, do we have large groups? Oh, look at this group. If the fake news would show it, it would be so. They never show it. And you know, we do the videos a little bit for the great crowds, because when we have a good crowd like in New Mexico, that stuff is expensive to put up, right? But when we have a good crowd, we put it up. They never show it. A friend of mine on television loves to watch the rallies. He says, but the one problem is whenever they go for a clip, you saw a clip just now. It was a sad clip. Jocelyn, it was a sad clip. But you saw that. All that camera, see those cameras? They're right at me. All they have to do is go 1 inch to the right and 1 inch up, and they've got it. They say they never play the videos. I didn't know that until he said that. That's terrible. So it's blank. You know what they do? They show me standing here for 2 minutes, right? No, it's very unfortunate. And they don't do that because they don't want the public to really see the facts. It's so easy to do. 1 inch to the right or left and 1 inch up, and they won't do it. And I shame them, and I shame them also about crowd size. I say, show the crowds. How about her? She couldn't get a crowd the other night. She got Beyonce. Beyonce walked out, said something, walked back, didn't sing a song, and they booed both of them the hell out of the area. No, she can only get a crowd if she gets some person to sing. I don't have to sing. I don't have a guitar. If I had a guitar, would I do even better? We'd have even bigger crowds, right? We'd have even bigger crowds. Kamala Harris is a low IQ individual. She's running a campaign of hate, anger, and retribution. She's now talking about what she's going to do on the border, but why didn't she do it before? 4 years almost. Or what she's going to do about inflation. She's talking about, I'm going to do this and that. She doesn't know what she's talking about, by the way. You have a depression of 1929. She said what she's going to do about inflation, but why didn't she do it before? It's almost 4 years. Or what she's going to do to help the economy. But then I ask, why the hell didn't you do it before? She and Crooked Joe head up the worst administration in the history of our country. They've made one man, he's getting up there in age, just celebrated his 100th birthday, but they made him a very happy man because compared to them, his administration looks absolutely brilliant. Jimmy Carter. And in all fairness to Jimmy, he didn't let 21 million people pour into our country, many of them criminals and mentally ill people that should be in hospitals. He didn't do that. 2 nights ago, Kamala made a speech with a paid-for audience. You can always tell when the buses pull up and they're all the same. Actually, it's a good-looking bus company. I think I'm going to use it sometime. But we don't need buses, do we? No, the buses, they get these people from someplace, they pay them, and they send them in. Oh, she got a wonderful crowd today. And then you see the people there. She's making a speech. They're all looking at their phone, blah, 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 calling their girlfriend, calling their boyfriend. But all she talked about was Donald Trump.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will speak about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, 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 Trump.
That's all she talked about. And that's it. That was exact. Although I got that from a fake news network, so you never know. No, that's all she talked about is Donald Trump. Let's talk about the economy. Donald Trump, this woman she suffers from a major case of Trump derangement syndrome. But many Democrats do, and that's because we're winning. We're winning by a lot. Everything Kamala says is a lie. She says that I want to take away Medicare and Social Security. That's a lie. You know that because for 4 years I just made it stronger. She says I want to end Obamacare and take away your health care. That's a lie. It's a lie. If we come up with something better, that'll be great. And everybody wants that because Obamacare sort of sucks. It's too expensive for the people. She talks about Project 2025, which I have absolutely nothing to do with. She says, I know that because of Project. Well, we've denied that. I have no idea what Project 2025 is. I've never read it, and I never will. But they make it sound like it's from me. She says, I want to ban IVF, a total outrageous lie. In fact, I'm going to require insurance companies to pay for IVF. And that was long, and many other things. I'm going to protect your Medicare, your Social Security. We're never ending it. She said we're in it. She never heard me say it. If she ever heard me, let her prove it. She gets up and lies. He's going to end Social Security. No, the nice thing is we can fight back because we have a voice, so we can fight back. We can tell you what's true and what's not true. But Kamala's open borders catastrophe, this is what's going to kill your Social Security. Her open borders will kill Social Security, Medicare, and frankly, will kill our country as a whole. It's going to kill us. According to a recent study, Kamala's plan, giving free health care for illegals, will rob Medicare of over $2 trillion. It will never recover, and I will never let it happen. The reason Kamala's campaign has been reduced, this desperate, pathetic stream of hoaxes and lies, is very simple. She's a liar. The entire world can see she's a total train wreck. And by the way, I looked at her this morning. She had a little news conference. It lasted for like 2 minutes. She's exhausted. You know? She's exhausted. She's a train wreck who is totally unqualified to be the President of the United States of America. There are some people who thrive under pressure, and there are some people who crack under pressure. She's a cracker. And the more pressure Kamala has, the more you see it happening. No, she's cracking. She's a bad person because anybody that lies like that, knowing that it's a lie, just put it out. Just have to tell you because you have to understand it. When you see it, at least this way you know it. You know, a lot of people say, sir, don't go down in the gutter with her. I said, well, how will people know she's lying if I don't say the truth, right? Am I right? She says it. But being a candidate is nothing compared to the pressure of being president itself, because I've done both. If she can't handle going on The View, where she made a horrible mistake, you know the mistake she made. She can't think of anything she'd do different from Biden. That should cost her 75% of the votes, and the 25 that vote for her, they're not the smartest people in the world. She can't think of anything she'd do essentially different from crooked Joe Biden. Do you know that 325,000 young children were killed or are sex slaves or slaves right now who came through this horrible open border? Think of what that means. Many, many stadiums full of the biggest stadium in many stadiums. 325,000 children are right now dead, never to be seen by their parents again, or sex slaves or slaves. And they're missing, and they'll probably be never seen again. This is not a charity event. This is an election for the biggest and toughest job in history. There's no tougher job than being president. And we get hit from the enemy inside. You know that, right? We get hit by the Adam Schiffs of the world. He's scum, total scum. They made up Russia hoax. They made up all the impeachment hoaxes. They make it up. They're bad people. There's no participation trophy for incompetent candidates. Do you want to lose your life savings because we put a weak and foolish person in the White House? You'll lose it real quick. You'll lose your country. But do you want to lose your job or maybe your house or pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a child? Did you ever hear her speak? They ask her a question on economic footing, and she's like a child. She says, well, I was born on a house with grass in the front of the house. I was born on a house with grass. She uses that answer all the time.